For producer Imogen, getting to the first day and the actors in rehearsal marks the end of a particular phase of her work and the beginning of the next one.
So today's the first day of rehearsals, finally, it's come round, so it's really exciting. It's just so exciting, I think, when you go through the process where you're casting and you read the script and just to sort of see that all come together and all those actors in one room sort of bring those characters to life is really exciting.
And elsewhere, behind the scenes, the countdown is on as the show heads towards opening night.
Lights,
lines and costumes are all being worked on.
What we're kind of exploring today is whether in the play, within the play, one of the characters brings on lots of theatrical lighting equipment. So we're kind of suggesting that whatever time it is, which is kind of non-specific, they have available to them within the play all the things that we have available to us to make this play, if that makes sense. So Dan is focusing the lights. So essentially, for every single light that we rig in this theatre anyway, because none of them move, or we can't control their movement through the lighting desk. We have to point them exactly where we want them to go. So he's up a ladder, and so I need to tell him what I want him to do with the light and where we want it to be on the stage. Yeah, so George is just securing the tooloscope, making sure that it doesn't start rolling away, making sure the brakes are on, and if Dan needs it moved a little bit, he's there to assist him. And James is bringing the lights up and down on the lighting desk for us and turning the workers on and off, so because obviously we want it as dark as possible when we're pointing the lights.
Do this anymore.
So much I do.
All the horses and
Talk to my father, Leo.
So these are the designs, and Hemi Shin is the designer. And so if we go back to Nina and Adaleo, so you can see that where her outfit has come from, and then here we've kind of changed it up in the fitting. We had a conversation, and it just felt better that she was in shorts rather than bikini bottoms and had her bikini top on show, so we've gone for more of that option. And then here we've got her in the black skirt with the kind of burnt orangey jumper, and then here in Act 4 she's all really wrapped up warm, and you can just see that blue top there and her little Ugg boots there. And then if I kind of pick out Constantine as well, Brian, we've got his leather jacket and his jazzy shirt, some black jeans and work boots, and then this is his kind of progression throughout the 4 acts. And then this one is just a different option here at the bottom, because we were just wondering whether having the same jacket all the way through is wise, because there's a 4-year gap in between the 3rd act and the 4th act, and whether he'd still be wearing that jacket. So we've just got him a different option, just to have a look on stage as well, because so many things change when you actually look at it on stage rather than in a fitting room on their own, singularly. So when the set's all in, the lighting's in, things always change. So here we've got the seagull costumes. So they are nearly ready, because next week it's kind of our tech week sort of thing. We're now starting tech week on Friday, so we've kind of gained a bonus week than we thought we would do, because in our kind of heads when you get the schedule through, we thought we'd start on Monday, so it's so good we've got 4 extra days, but they're nearly ready now. Really, we've had our fittings, and we've kind of more or less done all of the notes from the fittings, so now we're ready to start tech really. So we've got them all here. So I've got Constantine, Brian's character. So he's kind of wearing a leather jacket, and he's got some broken down work boots. there, some sunglasses, and he's just wearing black jeans with this and quite a nice jazzy shirt. So the feel for the costumes is kind of timeless, so we didn't want to pick out an exact period in time, but kind of just a fluidity of kind of, I don't know, just I've lost where I'm going with this, but yes. So we've kind of got everybody sorted out. So they're going to have a different costume for each act. The different acts are in the different seasons. So we start off in spring, and then we go into summer, then autumn, and then the final act is in winter. So at the end, everybody is kind of with massive coats on, loads of layers, loads of kind of like, I don't know, people are in wellies, it's snowing outside. Yeah, so the kind of audience will go on that journey through the costumes with them.
The stage management team move from their office into the rehearsal room and then the theatre to do their jobs. DSM Kinks runs the rehearsal room.
At the beginning of each day, making sure the night before you've told the actors what time they have to be there and what scenes they're going to be rehearsing. So start of the day setting up for the right scene, making sure the furniture and the props are in the right place. On this particular show, I'm doing a bit of operating sound while we're in rehearsal, so making sure you've got all that set up. And then while rehearsing, you follow the script, you mark down blocking, which is where everyone moves on what line and where they go, what bit of furniture moves. Writing down any notes about props, that something specific that's required, like this will be broken every night, so we'll need one for each show, or if there's food, or if there's basically any special requirements. Also any requirements for costume, lighting, sound, anything to do with the staging. So you're making notes about that as well, while being able to prompt the actors if they dry on a line. Yeah, that's kind of, and then I basically formulate paperwork at the end that I give to these guys and to other members of the production team. So setting list for props, running list for cues during the show, fly cues, costume plot, who goes off where at what time and how long they've got to change, various bits, smoking plot on this one.
Lots of paperwork.
Yeah, and that's it. And then sort of during a run through, you're sort of doing a bit of everything and just making sure that everyone's got what they need and it's all sort of running smoothly in theory. So I then I sort of go into the auditorium and sit on my bum, pressing buttons, while Claire and Lucy deal with the sort of the actors on the stage. But I basically then I cue the technical aspects of the show. So if an actor can't see or hear a cue, I'll give them a cue light. Sound cues, LX cues, fly cues. If there's a show with an MD, you cue the MD, or if there's a revolve, or if there's a trap, or so I basically coordinate that. I have the script that's then marked up with all the cue points, which in the fullness of time then also has descriptions of what each of those cues do, and also all the blocking, so that if the show is remounted in the future, someone can open it up and basically, in theory, know how that show runs. Even if the lighting cues are a bit vague, it might just kind of say snap to full, whereas actually a lighting designer would be like, well, actually it does this, this and this. And you're like, I don't need to know that, but a sort of a rough guide. And then I write show reports at the end of the performance, which is timings and anything that's happened, anything untoward or anything amazing, and sort of audience reactions and things like that, so that everyone on the creative team is kept abreast of anything that's happened during the performance and anything they might need to follow up. The skills that you're called upon to use from day to day and from week to week really vary. So what I'm doing in the rehearsal room, I won't necessarily call on those skills when I'm sat at the prompt desk, but there are, you sort of swap it around. That's actually quite nice because you can, you just don't get bored, I suppose.
Let's go for everyone coming in, so then I can just go back to say,
We're about to have a production meeting this morning. So that's all the departments getting together in a room.
Head of Production Seamus has a weekly meeting so that everyone can chat about what's going on and what needs to be done.
It's a chance for me to feed back any information that I've got from, say, the set builders or any other people we're working with. And it's a chance for us to get some information from Sean about what he needs for the show. It's a weekly catch-up for all the departments. So we're about halfway through rehearsals, and we are... like the set is built, for example. The workshop have finished building the set, so that is all ready. So I can be able to feed that back this morning. It's also an opportunity for, if there are any changes, for me to implement those now before the set is loaded out of the workshop and is delivered here. Hopefully there aren't any, but occasionally it does happen. And we are at a stage where we'll be starting to get a picture of what the show's going to look like, so we'll be getting some clear ideas on lighting and sound and things like that. So those creatives, the lighting designer and the sound designer, can feed back to the sound department and the lighting department their requirements, what they're expecting for the show, that kind of thing. We don't often have a lot of time either, so we'll probably have about half an hour perhaps before rehearsals start, so it's got to be concise. I've got to give out the information I need to. I need to take back the information then from creatives and Sean so that I can act on it.
I'll do 15 minutes from now, then I'll come to you, then I'll come
Then I'll consult.
Yes, very good. All right, thanks everyone. Cheers everyone.
It's important that technical rehearsals of particular effects are tried out on stage to help decide what works best.
Not that one.
Yeah, exactly. You got a car.
The full company are on stage for this one.
When the sound cuts, if we take all the lights out for a second, so if we just go blackout, and then if Adelaio's voice says whatever it says, and then you go, oh, this is a bit eerie, should we turn it off? And that when we turn that off, we go to the fairy lights. So should we sketch something now for the sort of post?
After nearly 4 weeks of work, Sean reflects on where they've got to so far.
So we're towards the end of the 5th week, which is the final week of Seagull rehearsals in this rehearsal room. And tomorrow we're going to run the whole play for the first time. We've run separate acts, but tomorrow's the first run through, which is a big moment. And so what's in the room at the moment are, some of the things are what's in the play, like these white chairs are, and I think this table and this lamp are. And other things will be, like maybe this bag, are just rehearsal props until we get on stage. Yeah, so this is Act 4. This is the final act of Seagull, where the world is becoming closed. It's cold. It's pinched. The pressures are building. It's 2 years later, and a lot of tragic and unfortunate things have happened. So we're just wrestling with that final act today. I really enjoyed the rehearsal process. It's a really great company, and the thing that makes directing easier is you've got really good actors sort of biting lumps out of it and leading, and your notes and your direction are in response to their instincts. What I feel slightly at the moment is it'll be good to run, because the danger as you start to look at stuff in the latter stages is you can sometimes throw the baby out with the bathwater and maybe start worrying about bits when you're looking at them in isolation that actually in the white heat of performance you don't need to worry about. I also think for me especially, I really like getting on stage and doing the technical rehearsal and previews, because I can start to see the whole thing with all the different elements. So I probably am getting ready to make it on stage as well.